Okay, MegaWhale team, welcome back to the channel and thank you for tuning in. I hope you're all having an absolutely fantastic day today. In today's video, we are going to be discussing the macro and short-term implications of this recent explosive short-term rally as a consequence of President Trump signing an executive order on digital assets, announcing they are moving forward with the cryptocurrency strategic reserve. This is not only including Bitcoin and Ethereum, but XRP, Solana, and ADA as well. As a consequence of this news event, we have seen a massive short-term rally for Bitcoin, resulting in a market price increase of near 10,000 US dollars. Alongside this, we have seen the total altcoin daily RSI breakout, the total market cap weekly close occurring above the 2021 high, and of course, Bitcoin being able to reclaim the weekly low of the prior candle, printing one of the most absurd candles I have seen in Bitcoin's price action for a very, very long time. We are going to be discussing the implications on the macro, the short term, and everything you need to know about what is happening, whether or not this reversal is strong enough to result in a continuation higher, or if it is going to fall apart. Before we get into it, smash the like button, hit the comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos for Bitcoin focusing on the facts, the data, the technical, and the structural information. No hype, no BS, no emotion, pure raw TA. If that is the kind of content you are interested in, join us on Telegram. This is the first link down below. You'll get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, and everything you need to stay in the loop for cryptocurrency with Bitcoin and the relevant economic news. And if you were interested in taking your trading to the next level, contact me via the pinned comment in the free channel. Click my name to join the VIP channel. Click the first link to find a 50+ month trading track record, and the second link to see a 10-minute video showing you inside the channel itself. We post trading setups with the exact entries, exact targets, exact stop losses, trade justification, exclusive analysis, and so much more, including access to a variety of group chats, from the general chat to the trading chat and education chat, from the help chat, the news chat, the daily video chat, and our community trade setup chats. Check it out. Over 700 members. Join up. We'll see you in there. Let's dive into it. So as we can see, with this massive surge in volatility as a consequence of the recent news events pushed by President Donald Trump, we have seen liquidations absolutely skyrocket, 246% at 810 million. Volume is up 142%, $338 billion. This again is expected as we see these dramatic news events that come out, really sparking a lot of hype into the market. Now, one thing I do want to say, when it comes to these news events that have little to no bearing on the risk asset climate, and I'm talking about, the actual mechanisms behind what makes risk assets attractive from an investing perspective, and that is generally influenced by the cost of debt, okay, the strength of the dollar. These news events, such as what we have seen from President Trump, is what we would call an industry-specific news event that has little to no bearing on the macroeconomic climate. So generally, although these rallies are very bullish, and we see the price action rally toward the upside, because they have no substance behind them, we don't always see these rallies sustain. So we do run the risk of actually seeing a bit of a sell-off now after this rally and a little bit of a correction. The big question is, if we do see a correction, how low could we go? Will we establish new supports, and will we get the confirmation we need to continue higher? If we do take a very brief look at the price action, we have been saying this for a long time now, for us to be confident we are going to break through this weekly downtrend and then continue upwards, we still need to see that momentum shift. We still need to see that downtrend break. We have not got that yet. Although this rally was a facilitated move to retest that level, it has not broken through. So it's fantastic. It's very bullish for cryptocurrency, but again, cryptocurrency itself is just one part of the puzzle. There's a lot more behind the scenes that really drive risk asset prices. We need to keep that in mind on a macro scale. We're going to be taking a look, nevertheless, at the probabilities of continuations upward, what needs to happen for that, and how the price action could correct, what that would look like, and what that would mean. So we're going to cover all the bases today, cover absolutely really everything you need to know about what is happening and what could happen in the future. Let's move over to the DXY. The DXY is looking okay. Its weekly close is pretty bullish over here. We've opened up pretty red for the week. I think this does have something to do with the recent developments and news events surrounding China. They have announced that they're going to increase their fiscal debt. Something like this does have a macroeconomic influence, as global liquidity could push upwards. This is good for risk assets generally, and that is generally going to be bad for the dollar. So we could see the dollar come down. Maybe that is why I've opened red this week. Something to keep our eyes on. Either way, from a TA perspective, from a charting perspective, while we are sitting above this most recently established low, we are looking for continuations up. If we drop below the recent low, we are looking for continuations down. This will be generally bullish for risk assets, generally bearish for risk assets over here. Moving to the S&P 500, not much happening here, not looking amazing. If we take a look at this chart, we can still see momentum has been traveling downwards as the price action has been moving upwards. This tells us that selling pressure has been steadily increasing, but more importantly, buying pressure has been steadily decreasing. And again, we can see that through the RSI. On the good news, although the buying pressure has been decreasing, the selling pressure has not been enough to actually create lower lows here. We've actually still been establishing these higher lows. So what are we looking for to be bullish? We are looking for the RSI to break through that daily downtrend. When that occurs, that will be an indication that the selling pressure has been absorbed, it's dissipated, and the buyers are back in control, ready to push the price action upwards. So before we get into the rest of Bitcoin's analysis and the broader markets, make sure to sign up to BitGet, BitUnix, or BingX. These are the exchange links down below. You will support me making this content. Most importantly, you will support yourself when you're trading, because you'll get a lifetime trading fee discount of 15%. And of course, you'll trade on exchanges I use on a daily basis. Check it out, guys. We'll play an ad and we'll jump back in. If you are looking for a new exchange or just want to support the channel, sign up to BitUnix with the link down below. You'll get a lifetime trading fee discount of 15%, which can build up to 45% based on your trading volume, as well as access to a bonus reward center, and of course, all of the exclusive campaigns we run on this exchange. You'll also get access to BitUnix being a non-KYC exchange, meaning you can sign up from anywhere in the globe without regulations. And most importantly, I only promote exchanges I trust and I use. As you can see, I trade on BitUnix very regularly, being the highest VIP level with over $500 million in trading volume for the last 30 days. And lastly, if you were interested in signing up to our other two exchanges, BingX or BitGet, you can also do that via the links down below. You as well will get the 15% trading fee discount and everything else that comes with it. Go ahead and sign up. Thank you for supporting. Let's jump back in. Okay, legends, let's go ahead and jump back in, and I want to start on the weekly chart. Now, first and foremost, let's get it out of the way. This weekly candle is probably the most insane weekly candle we have seen for Bitcoin in Bitcoin's history. It is, I would say, most definitely the largest weekly wick we have seen. This weekly wick is around about 20%, if not one of the largest candles, and not one of the largest moves in general on a weekly scale we have seen for a very, very long time, if not forever. Now, the weekly closing price itself was technically pretty good. We were able to close above the prior weekly low of this macro consolidation over here, which has saved Bitcoin in a sense, or at least given Bitcoin a chance to really show some strength and really make do with the potential it's given here to reverse. We have not got the confirmation yet that we need to be confident that we are going to see new highs and continuations, but we have been given the chance to do so. We've been given the chance to really show the sellers that the buyers are back in control, and we've been given a chance to break through these weekly downtrends and push momentum back positive and continue this trend upwards. So we have to take a look at the short term later in today's video and discuss what are the probabilities and what needs to occur. But all in all, if we're looking at this rally for what it is, the reality of this rally is, yes, it was a fantastic rally. Yes, we were able to push back upwards. Yes, we have seen the total market cap close back up at the 2021 high, but the same confirmations we were looking for back over here for continuations, the same confirmations we were looking for there, we have not had yet. Those confirmations are, of course, the breakout on the daily downtrend, the RSI, to indicate momentum is positive. Number two, a breakout of the downtrend on the weekly chart, the trend we have been trailing under since essentially the beginning of 2025. These are the two things we are watching for to be confident that the price action has and is ready to continue back into these prior highs. Until that occurs, the potential that we continue to grind along this downtrend into lows are still there. I don't think it's very likely now that we have actually established a new support at around that $80,000 level in this VRPV gap. I don't think it is likely now that we have established a lot of new short-term supports on the smaller time frame, which we'll discuss in today's video. But it is still a potential. So we need to be aware of all the potentials in the market to then be able to set plans and execute the plans when they occur. So if we take a quick look at the weekly chart, in terms of the weekly candle, there's not much I can tell you here that is very relevant or actionable, meaning we can go on for 10 minutes talking about how crazy this candle was, how big the candle was, but none of that information is going to be actionable or applicable to your own decision making, so we're not going to waste our time. Essentially, we have seen a massive liquidity grab toward the downside. As a consequence of the news event, we have seen the price action rally aggressively back upwards. If we are looking from a horizontal perspective, this has resulted in our key levels being able to sustain on the weekly, which is a good sign, but it doesn't take away from the fact that we did see a brutal correction which wiped off billions, multiple billions of dollars in liquidity over the course of last week. So let's move over to take a look at the total market cap, and we'll come back to Bitcoin in a second. The total cryptocurrency market cap for altcoins, first and foremost, has seen something very bullish. And I'll give it this. This is the first time I will say since all the way back at December, when I sold all my altcoins back in December 14th, this is the first time I'm going to say the altcoin market cap is starting to look good again. The reason I say that is because we have now seen the RSI break upwards. If we take a look at this downtrend, measuring the downtrend from our two peaks, these two peaks are going to be the applicable double tops at 1.13 trillion. We can see we have now broken through this region. This tells us that momentum for the altcoin market is positive. This was most likely a recently established low, which is probably going to be a bottom, and we will likely possibly see money rotate back into altcoins as the altcoin market rises, provided that the short-term rally we have now seen for Bitcoin is able to sustain and we are able to see this downtrend break. Of course, if Bitcoin is unable to do that, the entire market will fall down again. But as I mentioned at the start of the video, this rally we have seen gives the market hope. It gives it the potential to do so. Whether or not it's going to execute on that potential is another story, but it does give it the potential to do so. So the altcoin market is looking the best it has looked for many months over here as a consequence of this recent rally. So I'm keeping a very close eye on this altcoin market here. I'm watching very closely for continuations and just for how the price action to respond at these levels. Of course, if we do zoom into a 4-hour chart, we've essentially come back up to almost retest that prior resistance. This is going to be a key short-term level around $940 billion that we are going to need to break upwards to really confirm that we are going to move upwards. So we're looking at the short term. We are approaching resistance here. I'd be watching this resistance, a break of that resistance. I'd be then very confident in continuations. Until then, yes, we have seen a fantastic rally. This rally may run into some turbulence, so we may see some short-term corrections, but provided that momentum does remain positive, which it is, the overall higher time frame is starting to look a little bit better for the altcoin market on the higher time frame, not the immediate price action. Moving to the total cryptocurrency market over here on the left-hand side, the total cryptocurrency market has essentially avoided disaster. Now, we've talked about in our prior video the significance of the 50 EMA, and that the 50 EMA was essentially that last line of support or the last bouncing point for the total market cap. We talked about that if we were to drop below the 50 EMA, we would likely see a correction towards the 200, and we stand by that. If we do drop below the 50, it is likely we see a bear market correction towards the 200 moving average, because again, we have got our bearish divergence over here on the RSI. We have got a horizontal resistance that we may confirm deviation below if we drop below the 50 EMA, which will result in a reversal. That is going to be a reversal signal. But yet again, just as the weekly candle saved Bitcoin moments ago, it has saved the total market cap. The total market cap has been able to close above the 2021 weekly high. But just as we mentioned with Bitcoin, this is fantastic, but it is not enough to confirm we are going to continue higher. We need to see momentum shifts. Again, if we move over to the daily chart, we have seen on the short term, and this is mainly as a consequence of the altcoin market here, we have seen a preliminary momentum shift here on the RSI, but what we are really watching out for the next leg toward the upside is going to be that weekly RSI break this downtrend. That is going to signify that the exhaustion or the selling pressure that has been increasing as a consequence of this bearish divergence has been absorbed and dissipated, and the market is ready for that next leg toward the upside. So we are waiting for that confirmation. It's looking good, but it's not looking amazing yet. Let's move over to Bitcoin's chart. We'll start on this time frame. As we mentioned, the 2 points of confirmation we are watching is the daily RSI to break and the weekly downtrend to break. These are levels we absolutely need to break through. If we break through these levels, it is highly likely we are going to move back into these highs at 106 to 110,000. Until we do that, we need to be aware. We are now retesting the prior low point of the prior 2.5 week consolidation before we had the aggressive breakdown. This was our 2.5 week horizontal consolidation formation that we had before. When we broke down from that region, we saw the initiation of what was one of the most insane corrections for Bitcoin we have seen for a very long time, wiping out multiple billions off the total market cap. So we do need to be aware we are now retesting this level, as well as this being a confluence point with the weekly downtrend, as well as the fact that the short-term price action, bring that RSI back up, the short-term price action, if we go to something like an hourly chart, we can see there is a degree of bearish exhaustion developing, as we do have a slight bearish divergence developing here. And of course, again, we are retesting these major horizontal levels. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say, yes, we have seen a great rally. Awesome, this has been able to sustain some key weekly levels. But if you are aping in right over here, you are unfortunately late to the party. You are late to this move. We need to wait for higher time frame confirmation. We need to see how the buyers develop at these levels. We need to see if demand will be found at these high prices to facilitate what will be more important, a macro breakout of our weekly downtrend and that daily RSI. If we fail to see this, if we fail to see this rally sustain and we see this RSI breakdown, we see a negative momentum shift, which I believe would be possible, we could see the price action correct back to $86,000 over here, which is going to be a key level of support. So I do not think this rally was bearish. I think, in fact, it was a very bullish rally. In fact, the news was very bullish. But we need to be aware that the news itself has little to no bearing on the macroeconomic climate for risk assets, and therefore this rally, if it does exhaust, we do not see buyers step in, may see some sort of pullback. And therefore, I would not personally be this is what I'm doing. I'm not aping into positions over here. I'm still playing it more cautious. I'm watching for that higher time frame confirmation. I'm watching for that RSI to breakout. I'm watching for the weekly chart on the total market cap and for the altcoin market cap to show more strength at key horizontal levels. But all in all, it was able to save Bitcoin for another week. Some absolutely insane price action, guys. During these times, it is always best to be cautious and to be aware of the possibilities. I wish I could give you more information, but this price action has only just developed within the last hour or so there really isn't too much more to say. We need to see how it does develop and whether or not it sustains at these levels. But all in all, that is my overall assessment. I do not think we have had the confirmation we need yet to say, okay, this is it, Bitcoin's going back up to 110,000, but we are getting close to that point. If we don't get it, we do run the risk of corrections lower on the short term particularly, and of course on the higher time frame. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a fantastic day, and we'll catch you in the next one. See you then.